Hi, everyone. Welcome back to French Fries and Feelings. I am Justine,
I'm Natasha.
and we have a very, very special guest tonight. Please, Spuds, give it up for Bas Moreno.
Hey,
Woohoo!
thank you for having me.
Of
Pleasure,
course.
pleasure to be here.
Of course. Thank you so much for joining us. Bas, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I'm a certified financial social worker helping people of color in the sandwich generation who are struggling with their finances while caregiving, providing one-on-one financial education and counseling. I'm also a licensed social worker in the state of Delaware, and I am the host and executive producer of one of the top social work podcasts in the world called the Social Work Rant Podcast. It's available however you listen to podcasts and on YouTube as well. And I'm also a two-time published author.
Okay.
Bas, you are killing the game.
Seriously. And okay, back to the first certification. I didn't know, okay, if you're not in the social work field, you don't know all of the different things that encompass that field. Speaking from experience, because I honestly, when I was in school, did not even know that geriatrics was a part of that field. So, can you tell us a little bit more of the financial aspect of it?
Yeah, so there is a certification called Financial Social Work. A textbook actually came out this year. So the person who created Financial Social Work, her name is Rita Wolfson. She's been a long time social worker, and so she created this certification. Pretty much, you pay for it. It's you go through the materials like five different books talking about all different things like credit and budgeting and all the mental aspects of like human behavior, how it affects like our money story and different things like that. And you take a open book exam and you pass the exam and you become certified. So it's and there's so many certified financial social workers actually in the space. There's also a a different certification as well. Financial therapy. That's a thing as well. There's a whole financial therapy association, and they do conferences every year. So there's also like a trauma of money certification. There's another. It's like a accredited financial counselor certification as well. So yeah, you could do if you're into money and with a MSW, you don't need to take your licensing. You don't need to give the ASWB your money. You could do some other things.
Wow. I mean, honestly, well, first and foremost, you were like the first male guest that we've ever had. So shout out to you. And
Thank you.
secondly, you don't find many male social workers. And I think you just made it cool for men to be social workers when you added the financial aspect to it.
It's funny because my friend and colleague Erica Sandoval, she seems to find all the men social workers. I'm like, where have all you guys been? Because I know I'm a rare breed, especially a Latino male who's a social worker. Like we rare in these streets.
Very, very rare. And speaking of which, can you tell us a little bit about your upbringing, being a Latino, and maybe if there's any life events or experiences that you had that kind of propelled you towards social work?
Oh man. So I grew up born and raised in the Bronx, New York. Um,
Woohoo!
uh, lived there till July 2005, moved to New Jersey, then until like 2014, moved back to the Bronx, and then moved to Delaware in 2020 and during COVID. So, uh, grew up in the Bronx, grew up, I'm an only child, but I do have half siblings, so it was just my parents and myself, and just uh to live through like the crack era. So like I remember like as a kid like seeing like crack vials on the floor, my mom trying to cover my eyes like as we were walking in the streets. I you know HIV and AIDS first came out, so I remember when that was a big thing. And I did see like needles on the floor, and I'm trying to like going up the stairs to go take the train. I see needles on around. So it's occasional, gunshots here and there. Um, for good and for bad. I mean, I remember when the Yankees first won the championship in '96. The neighbors went on the roof and shooting gunshots to celebrate.
Oh my
So it wasn't
God.
all negative. um, but yeah, I pretty much I was a homebody. Like I preferred to stay home, like watch TV, like go to school, come home, and as I got older, like occasionally go to a friend's house. Luckily, like my best friend lived in the same building, so I didn't really need to like leave the apartment building to go anywhere to go hang out with my friend, like go to the park at times. So it's kind of like really like life didn't really like just was school and that's it. My job was to go to school and that's it. And like I met my first wife, and then that's what like and I had started working in foster care during that time, so that's how I started in the social work field. Um, was actually like I wanted to do sports broadcasting. That's what I
Oh,
majored in undergrad, and then 9/11 completely like kind of wiped that dream away. Um, and then literally I went through a temp agency literally like a month after 9/11 happened. And it's like, I got a call like a couple of days after Christmas and during 2001. It's like, hey, we got this job for you. And it ends up being a foster care agency job in the Bronx. So like I take it, like literally I was like unemployed. I was doing odd jobs here and there, but wasn't working. And started January 2002 working at a foster care agency, making 8.25 an hour,
oh
working in
my
a
God.
working in a foster care agency, and then I got bumped up to 850 because I spoke Spanish. And I did that for like 6 months, and during that time, the agency would change like human resources directors. So like my paperwork to make me permanent and actually give me a salary took a long while. Like this doesn't happen by this time. Like I need to be out because I'm like literally like going to family court, being like threatened by like family court judges, like you need to do this or you're gonna be like contempt in court and all this stuff. I'm like, I'm doing way too
Wow.
much for 850 an hour.
Exactly.
And like going to taking kids to go see like their parents who are incarcerated. Like I'm like going to Taconic Correctional Facility, going like to Rikers and doing a lot of stuff for
Oh
very
my
little money.
God.
So so yeah, so it was I moved to New Jersey with my fiance, and we got married 2006. I had two kids, and then uh separated, got divorced, moved back to the Bronx, and divorce was finalized. Got full custody of my kids, and my ex-wife passed away 2016.
I'm sorry to hear.
Uh, yeah, so imagine telling your own kids like your mom passed away, um, and Google not having the ideal
Um,
answers at the time to explain to a 4-year-old. My daughter was 4 at the time, like your mom passing away. Um, so yeah, so like, and then kind of kind of meet my second wife. That's eventually she became my second wife that same year, like months after like my my first wife passing away. So it was like life just throws curveballs at you from time to time, and you just
oh yeah.
never know. So obviously when COVID happened, and I was working in New York during pandemic happened, and working with older adults, seniors, however you want to want to call them, and
Hmm.
literally having clients passing away from COVID. And my mom was in a nursing home like for most of 2019 and brought her home right before the shutdown happened. And then she having to call 911 on her. And then she ends up passing away from COVID herself. So like it
Oh
was
no, I'm so
2020.
sorry.
2020 was wild. uh, ended 2020 on a high, but like most of 2020 was beyond terrible. Uh,
It
Oh,
sounds
I'm
like the
sure.
last 10 years have been quite the ride for you. A
yeah,
lot of change, a lot of loss, a lot of gain at the same time. Um,
yes,
so you started off in foster care making 8.25 an hour.
yes,
So I was born in the 90s. I am going to assume that you were born before the 90s since you were around for the
yes.
crack epidemic. Um, so can you tell us a little bit about what foster care was like when you first started?
Wow, I don't know what like you hear like things on the news of like a news definitely back there was like a news junkie. You hear what foster care, but like or what it is, or you hear kids being in foster care, but to see it day in, day out, and I remember having kids on my caseload, like they first came into the foster care when like I was in like senior year of high school, like they were still in the system, and I'm there like case manager, like yo, these kids have been in the system way too long, like it's crazy. So it's setting up sibling visits, like one one kid lives in one house, another kid says some another lives in another house, and like you gotta call the foster parents and call the parents to like all come together and set it up. Well, was interesting to see just the agency closed. I was like I could talk some trash about, but it wasn't like the best agency in the world to the point where it was like when there was any like court orders that needed to be done, like I actually needed like a sheet of paper. It's called like a short order, and like
Mhm.
having to tell like the lawyers, even like the lawyer that was trying to quote unquote like defend the agency was like, I need this short order, otherwise nothing is not even though it's ordered on paper by the judge, nothing's gonna get done. Like I need a short order so things can get done. And so like what do you mean? Like what you like going against like the agency? Like trust me, it's not gonna get done. Like I could like my hands are gonna be tied. So, like
Oh
just
my God.
so it's like things like that. And, the 3 years and like I had clients who were like, "You still here?" Like because it's very high stress job. Like people come,
Hmm.
people go. I lost count how many people like shared the cubicle with me. Like it was like coming and going, people like leaving, and I stayed there for 3 years. And I literally had clients who were like, "You still here?" And it's like, so it's like, yeah, I'm still here. Like to the point I hit my limit. It was like I gotta go. Like this is like way
You know what's
way way
funny
too
is that
much.
I started in social services, also working within the foster care system. And I think like 3 years is like the max. It's almost every CPS worker that I've worked with, like once they hit that 3 year mark, they're just like, I mentally cannot do this anymore. And they jump to God knows what other career.
Yeah, that's true. I only know one person who's one of my colleagues, love her so much. She worked for foster care agency for 24 years before she
Oh my
started
God.
God.
working um at our current organization. And she, 24 years is definitely longer than 3 years.
Yeah.
And this was like her first job. So it was like her
Oh my
first job, and she was there for 24 years, and you can just imagine all the things that she's experienced and gone through. And it took her a while to kind of readjust, not being part of foster care and having to deal with parents and like children and court, and like having to get up in the middle of the night, go to
Mm.
police precincts or hospitals to just having a regular 9 to 5 job because
Yeah.
working in foster care is 24/7.
Yeah, that
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, luckily like we had like we was on had a rotation basis that we were like on call, so I wasn't always on call 24/7, but that week, 2 weeks that I was on call 24/7 was not not fun to say
Oh,
the least. So I remember doing a couple visits on the Saturday, like Saturday mornings, come the Bronx to Brooklyn, and like um it's just interesting. Like literally, like the other day, I was watching something on TV and they were talking about Taconic Correctional Facility. I was like, oh, I was telling my wife, I went there. She looked at me like, what? What are you talking about? I was like, I had to take a key.
In what capacity did you go there?
So Administration for Children's Services has a program. I don't know if they still do because it's been a long time since I worked in foster care. But at the time I worked there, they had a program whether a child has a parent who is incarcerated. They will set up family visits for the kid to go see their parent while incarcerated. So, and they'll like literally be like, they'll have a van, like the van was outside 125th Street in Lexington, and they'll go to whatever correctional facility the parent was located. So so I literally had to go basically do a home visit, go see the child, pick up the child, and like literally going on the subway, go to 125th in Harlem, and like there meet the van, and then go like to the correctional facility and basically kind of supervised but unsupervised, like the visit between the child and the parent.
yet they say that we get paid adequately. Because remember, he said that he was doing all of this for 8.25 an hour.
That is almost half of the minimum wage now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That's insane.
yeah, exactly.
So,
grossly underpaid.
bro, disgustingly underpaid.
Even when I got salary, it was still like way underpaid.
Oh, I'm sure.
I'm sure it was. So Bass,
Yeah,
in your career working, um, in total, right? Not just in
yeah.
child services, but in your entire career in social work, has there been anything that has stuck out to you the most? Maybe a specific case or a moment that you feel like defined your role or your passion in helping people?
Oh man, this I've 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 had some clients that are like I tell stories about like I still think about the kids in foster care, like how they grown, how they look, like wonder how they look like now or whatever. Because I had some babies, I had like 5 or 6 babies on my caseload, and um no, I work with severely like mentally ill clients. Like I remember one time seeing a client and I had like half the I don't even know what precinct it was, but half of the precinct in like Forest Hills helping me look for a client who was like who had stopped taking his medications and like um I've had just I've had a client selling like his like methadone liquid like literally like right in front of me like across the street and um like it's just like wild stories that I like can't believe like I like hear clients say things like sometimes clients say the funniest things that was like you just can't help but laugh and um you
Do you
know
ever find like with stories like that if you were to tell someone who's not in this field, they'll just look at you like you have 12 heads?
oh yeah absolutely like even like different type of like trainings I've done like I used to work in a couple of different organizations for adults living with HIV and AIDS, and like I went to this organization, for CEUs and for trainings, and one of them was talking about like like the whole like in and outs of like anal sex and like getting like a certification for that. And I told like my friends about that, and it was like, what?
Oh my
And I
God.
was telling like how was the training and all this stuff. It was very interesting and like learning like the different they went into it like top bottom like positions like
Oh
sexual
my
positions and
God.
stuff like things like that. And I was like, I didn't know, like I'm a straight male, like so it's like, but like I'm working with the population, LGBTQ plus, and like having like coworkers who are part of that community. So like you got to know this stuff. Like even like one time I went to
Right.
do a home visit and like literally like I saw like a bag of weed like on the client's couch. I'm like, oh, you got a 50 bag? Or the client looked at me like, what you know about that? I'm like, I'm a social worker. I got to know about these things so that I can like communicate and like
Right.
understand you, like whatever. So like so let me find out you smoke bags. So like no. It's like no, I don't, but just like you have to know certain things, and it's just like how to relate to your clients that you're serving, the communities that you're serving. um there was like one time like that an instance that really like bugged me out. Like I've been threatened a few times, but by clients, and almost like had like been like assaulted like once or
Oh my
twice.
God.
But this one client, he wasn't even my client anymore. Like so like I had transitioned him to another community agency. But when I first got the referral, like he was in a psych ward in the hospital, was able to transition him to, he had to go to one of these like nursing homes in like Far Rockaway, and then I got him like helped him to get permanent housing, that's how I was able to transition him. And at that time, I was going to grad school, and then I'm literally minding my business, trying to rush to go home because even though I was working in New York, I was living in New Jersey. So I'm like, I'm at Port Authority, trying to catch my bus, and I see my old client coming down the escalator, clearly not doing well whatsoever. Like had like snot coming out of his nose, and then everything he said, he was singing.
Oh my God.
So like, so like, I'm like, bro, I can't. In my head, I'm like, what are you doing here? So I told him, what. I even asked him like, what are you doing here? In my head, I'm like, you never wanted to leave your apartment to go look for a job or anything like that, but here you are, 9 o'clock at night in
Right.
Times Square in Port Authority. What are you doing here?
Listen,
Uh,
he had a job to do. He was on the money.
so, so like I knew like he was like if I leave him alone and go run catch my bus, like it was not going to be a good outcome for him. So I literally stopped what I was doing, went to the police officer in Port Authority, like, hey, he used to be my old client. Like, he needs to go to get evaluated in a psych hospital, like, immediately. And they asked him questions, and he literally saying his address, saying all his medications he was taking. It was just
Wild.
like exactly a wild story. And
Wild.
that messed me up like for like a few days. Like I'm like, well, I did all this work, and this is what happens. Like you
Oh
go like
man.
one day or a couple of days without taking your medicine, and it's like to throw that down the drain. Like it's crazy. But he called me like a few days later. It's like, thank you so much. Like he remembered my phone number, even though like I wasn't his client anymore. He called me like, thank you so much
Yeah.
for like,
See, right place, right time.
yeah, exactly. Like I was meant to to be there and listen to him sing his
Yeah.
medication, his psych medications.
Maybe that's
But
the thing. Maybe all of our clients need to like sing their meds.
obviously the biggest thing that like really like got me like still like, I wouldn't say messed up would be like not the right word, but definitely traumatized, vicarious trauma is like losing clients from pandemic. Uh, when Microsoft like Outlook was definitely not my
Yeah.
friend during that time. It was like check an email in the morning, client passes away. Like we do our team meetings in the morning, like
Mhm.
giving like all the latest updates from CDC. I know for me, I was like uh, losing trust in the CDC. So I was like,
Yeah.
I had no idea what's going on, whatever. And like after the meeting, somebody else passed away. And it was like end of the day, it was like literally like, just from March, April, May to June. It was a wild time until by the time I left the agency, they our art therapist team did an amazing job, like honoring all the clients who lost. And like my
Mhm.
last day at the agency, I literally counted the whole board. I think it was like we had at that point lost like 30 participants as a result.
Wow.
Not all of them died from pandemic because we literally had clients who were like 101, 100 years old, 99, obviously
Yeah.
dying of natural causes, but most of clients of that will have had passed away like, during that short time from pandemic.
Wow. So I know you had said that you have your own podcast and you
Yes.
have your books out there. Can you quickly touch on those? Because now I'm intrigued.
Yes. So before the world shut down, I started my podcast January 2020. Um, Literally, I had no idea what to. There was no structure. There was like I had a friend who had a podcast, and then a podcast that I was listening to did an episode of kind of how to start a podcast. So like this seems simple enough, and again going back to my broadcast journalism background, like let me just download this app, hit play, and talk and see what happens. And then it wasn't until COVID that kind of things really started clicking. Literally, just like did couple resource episodes, and then like whatever popped in my head in terms of an idea, I literally did it. So uh, I started interviewing other social workers that I was connecting through mostly Instagram, some on LinkedIn, and then literally I did like a social work spotlight series, I called it. And I wanted to know what was happening, boots on the ground, where you lived at, that that I'm not going to get on the news. I'm not going to get it on CNN, MSNBC. I
Yeah.
wasn't going to know what was happening. So I did that, and I started interviewing different folks, and then kind of getting more
I
traction.
love all of that. That's amazing.
Yeah, so been doing the podcast. January will be 6 years of doing the podcast, and got literally had like a couple different publications rated me like in top five podcasts. And, one of those publications, I think, like for like 2024, rated me like most must listen to this podcast going into this year. So it's like, literally, we've had like the CEO and NESW, like never met him before, then went to the Millennial Social Work Conference, and like he knew who the heck I was because of the podcast. So like, it's been,
Amazing.
and then my books going back to male Latinos in the social work space. So I am part of a co-author of the award-winning Latinx, Latina in Social Work Volume 2. Um, so we literally poured our hearts and souls, but because we social workers, hence everything I just said in this episode, we go through our own stuff on top of helping our clients out. So everybody poured their heart and soul, talk about their personal dramas and situations that they're going through in a poetry book, in a book. Talking about, I talked about addiction, and people talking about being just a variety of different immigration, a whole
Mhm.
different topics that no we deal with as a profession with our clients, but literally people going through their own stuff as well. So there's a volume one, volume two, and volume three came out almost a year ago. Um, like in a couple, like basically a year ago, volume three. So that, and then my poetry book, I wrote it during pandemic, kind of pretty much as a trauma response, because gyms were closed. On top
Mhm.
of everything else I was doing, up until 2020, like 2019 into 2020, I was a licensed Zumba instructor as well. So I got furloughed from my gym job. Like obviously gyms were closed because of COVID. No way to release any stress from
Yeah.
working and losing clients. So out of nowhere, I started writing these words and it rhymed. And then like one poem, two poems, three poems, and then like I signed up for a writing group from one of my past podcast guests, who's a published author and a financial expert, and like I did his writing class and helped me publish my first book. So it's called Triumph Through Pain: How to Maximize Your Full Potential in Hard Times. It's literally 30 pages, soaking wet front and back. And it's available in paperback and is available as an audiobook as well. So um, and then I'm thinking about writing solo book number two. So, uh,
Amazing. I love all of that.
Me too. Bess, you're kind of inspiring me to write a book. I don't know what I would write about, but I'll hit you up when I get there, and then I'll ask you what your
yeah.
thoughts are. Um, you are a Latino. You are the first male guest that we've had, and so I guess an important question that I would say me and Natasha have is, how has being Latino propelled you in your career?
Oh man. Man, that's a hard question to say. I mean, I never really looked at for a while, like me being Latino, like prepared propelled me in any way. For a while, I was like, uh, I was always like the translator of the group
Oh yeah.
until organizations were being like, you got to get a certification to translate. Um so yes, I was always the translator for folks, and like that was annoying. I was always getting for the most part the Latino clients, and most of my caseload would be Latinos. Um so I don't know. And it really it wasn't until really like when the book came out, the Latinx and Social Work, and I saw, the first book had a couple males, but definitely the second book, I was like, where have y'all been at? And like these 10, 15 years in my career is like, um, because like I said, there's more and more males now than there have been, like especially
Hmm.
since I graduated my master's in 2010. Um, but it was like where have y'all been at? Uh, I did have one job that like all of us, the majority was male case managers. That was interesting as well. So like usually I'm like the only male in the out of
Hmm.
the bunch, and but to work with mostly males, that was an interesting time as well. We had a lot of it was hard work, but like we made it fun together. So like I guess when the book came out, and kind of like really see, all right, I'm not alone. There's other people doing the work, and I'm just at the end of the day, I'm just really like just being me. I so happen to be a male Latino in the space. Like I tell people all the time, like social work chose me, then chose it back,
That's a fact.
and then I didn't never really wanted to go back to school to get a master's, but when I worked in foster care, I saw people had these three letters MSW. Like, what's that? I guess like, and they were supervisors, so like, I guess so. I want to make some more money. I gotta go go get these letters, and then I'm trying to get that L after after that, and that's a whole process for another episode. And it took me moving to Delaware to finally get it. I came in right place, right time. They had a grandfathering program in, and with all my adult experience has been in social work. I'm going on 24 years in the social service field. So all I know my adult life has been social work. And my body is definitely taking a toll on that. Um, but yes, it took me 2020, 2021, getting grandfathered in with all my nonprofit experience in the field, and they have been renewed the license after that. So like first you got my L and kind of then I got my financial certified financial certification and so I'm always looking for clients who want to get their finances together or just like the caregiving because caregiving on a daily basis is stressful. Like I literally just checked like my dad's like SNAP benefits to make sure it came back on, and it did. Like,
Oh,
then wait,
good.
so like just like I'm going through it as much as anybody else in terms of the caregiving. I know people have it like way worse than I do, but uh, my household got affected by the SNAP benefits. So like
Mm.
so it goes back to social workers. We got our own stuff too on top of we helping clients out.
Oh yeah,
So yeah, so it's just kind of trucking along and just just keep grinding, keep pushing.
Well,
love
we
that.
appreciate that. We're definitely going to bring you back for a second episode because I have a lot more questions and
That
I'm
we got to
sure
do
you
a
have
part
a
two.
lot more answers, so you'll definitely be back. But thank you so much for sharing a piece of your life with us. And thank you for all the work that you've done and all the work that you continue to do. And for being
Absolutely.
an inspiration for men out there to go into the social work field. Please,
Yeah.
we need more men who have been lived in New York City and have lived through the crack epidemic and are willing to feed and nurture other people the way that you do. So thank you so much. We appreciate it.
And thank you for having me.
Of
This was
course.
fun.
Awesome.
Thank you. That looking forward to part two.
Definitely part
Yes.
two.